So this is your IELTS reading orientation. These are some pointers for the IELTS reading test for general training candidates. The IELTS general training reading test is a 1 hour test, 60 minutes, and has 3 sections. So you get 3 different sections which may contain more than one passage. Typically, sections 1 and 2 can have more than one text. Okay, so it can be 2 small passages, it can be an advertisement and a passage, but they will be multiple texts. The sections get progressively more challenging. Just as it's in the listening, similarly in the reading, section 1 will be relatively easier, then section 2 will be of moderate difficulty, and section 3 will be the most challenging. Section 1 typically has multiple texts pertaining to English in everyday life. So section 1 has all these texts. It will be 1 or 2 texts. Generally it is 2 texts. They will be pertaining to English in everyday life, such as advertisements or procedural information such as the labels on bottles or brochures, or they can even be appliance information. So those type of passages will come. They have relatively lesser amount of written material, so they are easier to do, but they will be multiple in number. So this is section 1. In section 2, there will be one or more texts related to a work environment. It can be about parking in colleges, or about how to write an article, or anything to do with the work environment, and there could be more than one text. This is of medium difficulty. Section 3, which is the most challenging, will have the longest passage. Generally you get one long passage in section 3. The test usually contains 40 questions which you must attempt in 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. All right. 40 correct answers get you 9 bands. 39 points will get you 8.5 bands. Then 37 and 38 points get you 8 bands, so on and so forth. Okay. So you can keep reducing 2 points for each 0.5 band. Like 37 and 38 get you 8 bands. So 36 and 35 will get you 7.5. All right. And 34 and 33 will give you 7. So on and so forth. You can keep counting downwards. The types of questions typically asked are match the headings. So basically you'll be given paragraph A, B, C, D, E in one passage, and there will be a list of headings, and you have to see which heading matches which paragraph. There can be more headings than there are paragraphs, so that you have more choice and it becomes a little more difficult. Then there are true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given type questions. So there will be a statement. Is the statement true? Is it false? Or is it not given? Or do you, yes, no, not given is also similar to true, false, not given. Yes will be like true, that yes, the statement is correct. No is no, the statement is false. And not given means the same, it's not mentioned. We'll discuss these further. Then you may get summary, sentence, flowchart, or diagram completion. This is like fill in the blanks. You might get a paragraph in some, like a summary in paragraph form, or a sentence, or a flowchart if there is a procedure, or a diagram which you will have to complete. Then choose a title. You may be asked to choose a title for the paragraph or for the entire passage. Then multiple choice questions. In multiple choice questions, there can be 4 or more choices, and you can be asked to pick one or more than one. Match sentences with endings. So half the sentence will be given on one side, endings will be given on the other. According to the passage, you'll have to match sentences with endings. And then there can be categorization. For example, you have to pick 3 things which belong to a certain category. So please go through the questions related to the passage before you go through the text. This will help you to focus on what you're looking for in the text. Okay, so the questions generally are given before the text starts. Sometimes they are given after. Whatever the case may be, look at the questions before you start reading. It'll save you some time. This is especially true for questions where you need to match paragraphs with headings. So you can start matching them immediately. You won't waste time by reading it again and again. In the true, false, not given or yes, no, not given type of questions, please remember not to get confused between false or no and not given. Okay, so students generally have this problem where false and not given or no and not given get confused. So false means that although the information is provided in the text, it does not match what is asked in the question. For example, this pen is red is true. If I say this pen is red, it is true. If I say this pen is blue, it is false or no. But if I don't mention the color of the ink in the pen, then it is not given. Not given would mean that there is no information in the text regarding the sentence given in the question. Now, I've given you a simple example. Over there, the questions are generally tricky, so please keep your mind open. Don't get carried away. If some information is not mentioned, it is not given. Then, carefully look at the instructions and see how many words you are allowed to use in your answer. Pretty much like your listening test. Do not exceed your word limit. So, you may be asked to write not more than 3 words or not more than 2 words. So, you have an upper limit. You can't go beyond 2 words or 3 words. So, please stick to that word limit or your answer will be marked wrong. In multiple choice questions, always check your instructions to see how many points you are required to choose. Most of the times it may be 1, but several times you are asked to choose 2 or even 3 points. For example, if you have, let's say, a question and then you have A, B, C, D, okay, you have all these points. You may even have more. So sometimes they ask you to pick only one and sometimes they ask you to pick multiple. So you've got to check which one you're required to do. The questions and answers are generally found in order in the text. Now, what does in order mean? This means the answer to question 1 will typically come before the next question, that is question number 2. So, if you are looking for, let's say, the answer to question number 9, you have to start looking at the point where you found the answer to question 8. Okay, so the answer to question 1 will come in the beginning, number 2 will come after, number 3 below that, number 4 below that. They will be in order. So don't waste your time by going through the passage all over again. You can just start from where you left the passage where you did the previous question. That is generally how it is. Unlike the listening test, separate time is not given to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So over here, you have to start writing in your answer sheet simultaneously. You have to do it within the allotted 1 hour. So no extra 10 minutes will be given. Kindly, within that 1 hour, write everything you have to write in your answer sheet. Once again, both British and American spellings are acceptable, but please make sure your spellings are correct. If they are not correct, your marks will be cut even if your answer was correct. There is no negative marking, so attempt all questions. If you have a vague idea about a question or even if you're guessing, it's perfectly fine. Just attempt all questions. And all the best.